Zayanderud, a mismanaged river, dries up. The Zayandehroud stands as the largest and most bountiful river of the Iranian plateau in central Iran, born from the rugged slopes of the Zagros Mountains. Its journey takes it eastward, winding through the heart of Iran's central desert until it meets the Gafkuni Marsh. Stretching over 360 kilometers, this river weaves its way through diverse provinces. Unlike most rivers, the Zayanderud does not end its journey at the sea or a lake. Instead, it meanders into a desert expanse, where it eventually comes to a halt. The Zayanderud profoundly influences the environment of the provinces it courses through, and has served as a crucial water source for farmers since ancient times. Isfahan is one of the primary provinces reliant on the nature and agriculture nurtured by the Zayanderud. Positioned within a dry geographical zone, agreements for harnessing the river's water have been established since antiquity. The most recent water distribution pact for the Zayanderud, also known as Sheikh Baha'e's Treaty, meticulously allocated the river's entirety for usage, delineating specific shares for each beneficiary. This agreement stood as one of Iran's prominent cultural heritage examples, showcasing the vital significance of this river for the farmers and populace of Isfahan. In essence, the Zayanderud is regarded as the lifeblood and primary catalyst for the lush greenery and fertility of Isfahan. Isfahan in antiquity served as Iran's capital for numerous years, boasting stunning ancient monuments and architecture. This heritage renders it one of Iran's primary and captivating tourist destinations. Throughout the past millennium, rare have been the occurrences when Zayanderud, the essential lifeline of Isfahan, has withered away, transforming into a desert. Regrettably, this pivotal lifeline of Isfahan, once the wellspring of beauty, vitality and verdancy amidst the heart of Iran's central desert, has now dried up, with water only trickling on a handful of days each year. The issue of the Zayanderud drying up emerged in the early 1990s. By around 2007, it had nearly ceased to flow continuously along its entire stretch. Given the intertwining of Isfahan's existence with that of Zayanderud, the river's demise heralds the collapse of a civilization spanning several centuries. Environmental experts attribute the drying up of Zayanderud primarily to mismanagement and human errors. A key factor is the allocation of water to major industries, including Isfahan steel smelting, Isfahan oil refinery, Isfahan Petrochemical Complex, Chemical Industries, Mubarak Steel Company, Sepahan Oil Company, and various other water-intensive industries such as power plants. Water is redirected towards factories via tunnels constructed along the route of Zayanderud springs. Moreover, under the pretext of addressing the water scarcity issue in the city of Yazd, a canal was established from Zayanderud springs. However, it later emerged that a substantial portion of this water was being utilized by tile and ceramic factories located in the outskirts of Yazd. These factories are predominantly owned by holdings associated with the Revolutionary Guards. One of the most distressing aspects of this tragedy is the direct involvement of the clerical regime and the Revolutionary Guards in the depletion of Zayandehroud. Mubarak Steel Company, owned by one of the Revolutionary Guards holdings known as Iranian Mir Eqtisad Investment Holding, utilizes around 27 million cubic meters of water, accounting for approximately 6% of the city's overall consumption. This factory demands 30,000 litres of water for every kilogram of steel it produces. With a straightforward calculation, one can grasp the magnitude of water consumption by this factory, all within a desert region. However, the Iranian regime and the Revolutionary Guards, motivated by the substantial profits they accrue from this factory, consistently overlook environmental concerns. In August 2022, the Iranian regime's linked newspaper Javan, associated with the Revolutionary Guards, stated, "In 2021, Mubarak Steel Company's export income reached 20 trillion tomans, equivalent to approximately $333 million, and the profit of Mubarak Steel equals the subsidies of the entire nation and the development budget of all provinces." In addition to the substantial profits generated by the clerical regime from steel, there have been embezzlements within the factory involving astronomical figures. In a single case of governmental embezzlement, an amount of 92 trillion tomans, equivalent to approximately $1.5 billion, was misappropriated in the year 2022 in this factory. The Iranian regime's affiliated newspaper Hamdeli illustrates the immense dimensions of this embezzlement and its impacts on people's lives by writing, "The question that arises is, with this amount, how much employment could the government have created? How many households could have been sustained? In a situation where livelihoods have become so critical that, according to many doctors, patients say, 'Just prescribe medicine that costs maximum 40,000 tomans, less than $1, as I cannot afford more.'" To grasp the scale of this corruption, consider that this sum surpasses the total expenditure for the Lake Urmia restoration efforts since 2013 by over 6 times, exceeds the budget of the environmental organization by 46 times, dwarfs the budget of the entire Khuzestan province by 13 times, and is more than 6 times the total corruption amount in the capital bank. Yet another consequence of these vast profits accruing to the Iranian regime is the devastation of farms and the unemployment of several 100,000 farmers. Due to the drying up of Zayandehroud, many have been compelled to migrate either seasonally or permanently to other provinces or to the city of Isfahan. In Isfahan and surrounding cities like Falavarjan and Mubarak, residents often stage protests against the Iranian regime's institutions, calling for water to be allocated for agriculture. Farmers, protesting against the Revolutionary Guards' exploitation of Zayandehroud's water, argue that their sole demand is water supply. They claim that preventing timely cultivation under the pretext of water scarcity has resulted in ongoing and long-term damage and losses. They also highlight the discrimination whereby water is easily and unaccountably diverted from Zayandehroud springs in one area, while farmers elsewhere struggle to provide for their basic needs. The plight of farmers in Isfahan province has reached such a critical point that even the Iranian regime's state newspapers have been compelled to address it. They highlight that the absence of water for farmers translates to unemployment and the demise of agriculture. According to their reports, a staggering 15,000 hectares of agricultural land in the eastern outskirts of Isfahan city have been lost, with 5,500 plots of land being taken out of agricultural rotation and sold for alternative purposes. In addition to the devastation of agriculture, another crisis akin to a time bomb is unfolding in Isfahan province. The drying of the land has triggered a subsidence phenomenon in this region that has escalated into a crisis of global significance. Historical and traditional sites integral to Isfahan's identity and heritage have fallen victim to destruction, abandonment, and subsidence. Landmarks have sustained significant damage, with the Iranian regime neglecting their preservation efforts. These landmarks include the Shahel Satoon, a Persian palace built by Shah Abbas II in the 17th century, Ali Oapu Palace, an imperial palace in Isfahan, Shaharbagh School, a 17th and 18th century cultural complex in Isfahan, mosques in Nagshe-Jahan Square, and bridges like Kaju and Siosepol, one of the most famous bridges of Isfahan, literally meaning 33 bridges. All this is happening in a city that was once a premier tourist destination, hosting half of Iran's tourists and serving as a crucial source of income and employment for many people in the city and surrounding villages. The situation in Isfahan has become so critical that residents in certain areas claim they can hear the walls cracking due to subsidence during quiet nights. Confronted with such disregard for nature, agriculture, and the city of Isfahan, the province's residents have refused to stay silent. They have consistently protested and demonstrated against the depletion of Zayandehroud and the Revolutionary Guard's exploitation of its water resources. The largest protest by farmers and the people of Isfahan occurred in December 2021 on the dry riverbed of Zayandehroud. Despite the peaceful nature of the farmers' protests, the Iranian regime's officials attacked them and set fire to their tents.
اینا کار نیروی انتظامیه که چادرها رو آتیش زدن و کار یگانهای ویژه. آتیش زدن چادرها توسط نیروی انتظامی.
آجوری کشاورزا آتیش زدن
What started as a farmers' gathering turned into a harrowing scene of bloodshed. Reports and images shared on social media depicted security forces firing directly at farmers and residents of Isfahan who came to support them. According to subsequent news reports, 19 individuals lost one or both of their eyes due to shotgun pellets fired by security forces, and 3 people were killed. Some eyewitnesses even reported that the bodies of farmers killed by gunfire were taken away by the security forces in an attempt to erase evidence from the scene. As these protests persist, the Iranian regime has been compelled to sporadically open the main gates of the river for brief intervals throughout the year, permitting Isfahan to witness some water flow in the dried-up riverbed of Zayandehroud. However, this gesture does little to alleviate the anguish of the parched fields, and such tactics no longer suffice for the farmers who have lost everything and are demanding full restitution of their rights.